Hello, we are back with another Percy Jackson TV series review. We actually have a really good episode, which I actually really enjoyed it, surprisingly. Yeah, because I was beginning to wonder if this book series was cursed to never get a good adaptation. And because, I mean, don't get me wrong, the series is definitely more accurate to the books. The good adaptation, I'm not sure. I'm still waiting until the end of the series to fully judge it, but yeah, I've definitely had some critiques. This time I've only had one thing that I was concerned about, but that's not until near the very end of the episode. So, without further ado, I'm going to be going into the series. So we get a cute flashback with Sally that's teaching Percy how to swim and how to, just breathe. That's everything will be fine. That's all right, and that's foreshadowing what the nymph will say to him later. And then of course that turns into a nightmare where Kronos is taunting him once again. At least I'm assuming it's Kronos. Kronos, creepy voice. Someone pursuing his dreams relentlessly. Sounds like Kronos. And if it is Kronos, actor's doing such a good job at being creepy. Such a good job. Like, I love it so much. And we get more Thalia info about what she was like, since she was the first forbidden child since Percy. Which leads into Annabeth's backstory about how she was a gift to her father from Athena. Just straight up jumped into the explanation in book 4 about how children of Athena are brain childs. Which, yeah, which it's honestly weird to me that Percy never thought to ask her that before. That never got mentioned before, so that I'm completely fine with her revealing that. Then, our stepmother come in the picture, caused her to run away. And then we have, as they're going to sleep, eventually we have this outside shot of something landing on the train, coming in, and I was like, weird thing landing on the train, possibly a matter of all monsters. We find out later that it is her. And then, of course, instead of just Percy seeing it, it's the wild centaurs. Annabeth and Grover see it as well and point out how the mortals don't notice anything, which this leads into the explanation of Pan, how he once was on the earth and then left, and now humans are taking over. So that's why there's not that much wild centaurs anymore. Which explains that's what Uncle Ferdinand was doing. He was a searcher trying to find Pan, and foreshadowing, that's Grover's goal. He wants to become a searcher or whatnot, which I was wondering how they were going to foreshadow that, because that is an essential part of Grover's thing. I like what they're doing here. I like how they revealed it. It's really good. And honestly, don't have very many complaints. Things they then a security officer or for the train comes and asks for their tickets, and Beth shows them it because she has it, so she's a responsible person who wouldn't lose it or eat it. And the officers are like, oh, you guys are the ones in I think it was 17B? And he leads them back, and they find that their coach is completely destroyed. And of course, Annabeth gets snippy and puts them under house arrest. not house arrest, sorry. Basically, they're under watch because Anna's like, "Are we being arrested?" And he's like, "I don't think you want to go that way," but she continues to pursue. So, and their watch, and then that's when Echidna comes. Well, we don't know if it's Echidna yet, but it is Echidna. She comes over and explains things. Oh, hey, you guys are without your parents, right? You must be so scared. I'm a mother. I know all about raising kids and whatnot. Yada yada, motherly things, and those sort of explanations. And of course, we see her dog and it's barking. She keeps talk comforting it, saying not yet, sort of things as she is talking to the trio, and Grover notices, I see glass on you. You broke into our carriage, didn't you? And then they realize, oh, she's a monster who was probably looking for the bullets, and she thinks that he's the bolt, since he's the lightning thief. Well, they don't say lightning thief, thank goodness, but they still think he stole the bolt. Well, and of course, there's the kid that says, "Oh, I'm the mother of all monsters. Of course you fought people like me. They're my children." And then the Chimera gets is a little bit too anxious and immediately attacks. Stabs Percy with its tail. Leaves the barbs and stabs it, causing it to retract its tail. Ellen the gang escapes and starts running away. The security chase after it, and then the Chimera chases after the security people, which, yeah, it's sad because those people die, and I think they mentioned later in the episode that they got that their train exploded, so yeah, there's that. There's that. Of course, so as the chases happen, we see a Morrow family, and the mom looks out and just sees a dog running by through the Chimera, which I love seeing more of what the mortals are seeing for the mist. That's always something in the books I wondered, well, what exactly are the mortals seeing for the mist? Because personally, like, I wonder if they're seeing something like this sort of thing, which I feel like that is kind of exciting. Percy's wondering is most likely wondering if this is what they're seeing is most likely what happened, but it's still one of the things where I like seeing what the morals say for the mist. We don't get that very often, and it's really cool. And then of course Anna, when they escape and their train explodes, and they're much, and we need a place to hide. The Chimera is gonna be hunting us, so they go. And was like, "Oh, I know a temple of Athena. Let's go," and takes them to the St. Louis Arch, which we finally get to see the Gateway Arch. Instead of a replica Pantheon. Finally. Of course, Grover leaves to go find another train ticket they can buy since theirs exploded. And he also just wants to get away from all the animal hunting trophies that are in the arch that humans have put up. But as a result, Percy and Annabeth gets talking, including which we get more of Sassy Percy or Persassy. I see where he's like, oh, she'll be right down. It's like, I have a gift, and talk about how, yeah, Athena is close to you, but I'm not close to Poseidon, and I can't ask. My dad's never gonna do anything for me, foreshadowing that he still doesn't trust his dad's power completely, and more of him not like his dad for not being there, and of course, during the conversation, we see Percy collapsing from poison, which looks so believable. Which is just one of those like, no, Percy! Percy! Like, I honestly thought he was gonna faint instead of him just feeling weak from poison. Like, it was that bad, and it was like, oh, right, the poison. Poison, it was great. Right, and then of course, Aunt Beth says, oh, I know what can heal him, and I just love how she is desperately trying to heal Percy with the fountain water, but not making it work. Also, where are the ambrosia squares that are supposed to heal them? Like, I mean, they're not. I mean, I know like that is foreshadowing that only running water can heal Percy, but I feel like what they could have done was have Emma said, okay, let me find some ambrosia squares, but she's not able to go searching for them because that's where the Chimera and Echidna show up. And then as a result, they just have to run. They can't give Percy the ambrosia squares. I feel like that would have been really great, or have her mention like, oh, the ambrosia doesn't work on poison from the Chimera, that sort of thing. Like, at least put it in there that we have it there, but there's a reason why it's not working on Percy. Because right now I'm just like, where is this? I mean, it's not that important in this. It's not important in the first book, but later on it does become important because that's what allows Nico to stay up when he's used too much of his powers in book 5. Like, it becomes so important later on that they need to introduce it at some point. And then Emma's like, okay, let's go. We're going to get to the top of the arch where we can ask her mom for help. Well, because she is just desperate to help Percy saved, and I love it. That you do care about each other, even if you don't want to admit it. And then for us, we don't hear what Echidna says to Annabeth, but she clearly says something to Annabeth, which gets revealed later in this episode. So I guess monsters can just telepathically communicate now. Alright, sure. Sure, that's. Which, I mean, I wonder how they're going to use that. And if it's just going to be more like, I'm going to telepathically communicate to you to make it more threatening. Sort of thing. And of course, as they're getting onto the elevator, I guess. I'm not sure. It's not exactly an elevator. It's more like a merry-go-round car, but it's reminding me of like an inside merry-go-round car that's just slowly taking you up because there was enough room for the 3 of them, but that's it. And of course, Annabeth explains because he said the Medusa head up to Olympus. Athena is annoyed and embarrassed, so she's no longer going to protect us because of that. Which explains why the Chimera and Echidna couldn't enter because Annabeth made something like, oh, it should protect us, no monsters can get in, or sort of thing. I was like, okay, but the thing needs to happen, so that's a good explanation. Of to why the Echidna and Chimera are able to enter when they shouldn't be able to. And then, of course, we have, of course, when they get to top off, there was a bunch of people there, so they set the fire alarm off to escape. Annabeth plans to stay back because she thinks she has the best chance, and she knows Percy is the person for this quest. Since she tries to tell, she tells Grover, "Hey, get Percy to water. It should heal him." Percy tricks her and switches is because he doesn't want her to die, and he thinks, I'm gonna die anyway, might as well be me. Which I genuinely believe she would fall for that trick, because she doesn't know Percy very well at this moment. She fully believes that like he just gave up his weapon to help her sort of thing. And also there are times where it's like where she just leaves him and trusts him to fight as well later on in the books, and I feel like it's kind of a blind spot. She kind of has a blind spot for Percy and not falling for his trick. Not and falling for his tricks because she doesn't think he's smart enough to trick her, sort of thing. Or she just fully trusts him that she's willing to let herself get tricked. And of course, as when he closes his door, he is blinking his eyes and the camera gets blurred, which is a great way of showing that Percy's vision is blurring. And of course, we have a fight with the Chimera. Akena's like, "Oh, you're going to die anyway, such a shame, don't fight, the inevitable," sort of thing. And of course, she opens up a whole Chimera's. And eventually, the Chimera causes Percy to fall for the hole. He manages to grab on, but he slowly loses his grip, and he falls into the water. Which, this is my one complaint. I wish that Percy still had made the choice to jump in, as it shows a bit of a leap of faith. Faith in Poseidon. I know he doesn't trust, but I feel like that would make slightly good character progression. But I mean, he does show at the end and eventually just breathing underwater and trusting in Poseidon. So I guess he does eventually show it. And then, of course, as he's struggling to, I think his foot is caught under something. As he's struggling to move his foot, the Anaya comes and says, "Hey, I'm a messenger from Poseidon, and you just breathe, relax. He's here to help you, trust him," sort of thing. And he does decide to breathe, and that's where we end the episode off. But yeah, overall, this episode was really good. Normally, I think normally I would have complained that a Chimera fight didn't last that long, but since Percy doesn't kill the Chimera, I'm fine with that being short and him escaping. It's the other fights that I'm like, this could have been a bit longer instead of a few minutes. But yeah, surprisingly, this is an episode I'm visiting watch. They've finally managed to make an episode where I only have one complaint. That's it. Now, as for next episode, based on some of the previews I've seen, there's an instance where I'm not sure about that I might have more grapes, but we'll see. That's for next week. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again. Bye.